All right, let's try this, a little fill in the blank, as Pete has devised for today's program. Of the fired head coaches in the current cycle, the one who should be a coordinator next year, 2026, is who?
Well, okay, so let's throw some out there. I mean, Tomlin, okay, he's no. I mean, Tomlin's past coordinator status. That's ridiculous. Kevin Stefanski, I think he wants to be another head coach. I think he will be. So I think that's not even a possibility. Then you get into guys where you go Raheem Morris and Jonathan Gannon, where I'd go, I don't think there's any way they ever get a head coaching job again, or at least not right now. There's no way. So they're going to be coordinators. Both would be good. But I'm going to say this name, all right? And not that I don't think he can be a head coach too, but Mike McDaniel's the guy I'd look at. Mike McDaniel, I said this a little bit on my pod the other day. Don't just take a head coaching job to take a head coaching job, just to be, I want to do it. Don't do that, because if you take the wrong job, in 2 years you get fired, you'll never be a head coach again. And I think if he goes in somewhere go to Baltimore and be the OC, go to the Lions and be the OC, right? Show off that way. You'll have the pick of the litter again. You'll have the pick of the litter in another year or two. So I guess that's the one I'll throw out there right now, because I think he's still in the middle of maybe being able to do both, and I think the other ones are clearly either a head coach or never going to be a head coach again.
And look, he wasn't an A-lister when he got the job in Miami.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He wasn't.
Right.
He became this fascinating figure because he talks so differently. He's so authentic. He's so raw. He's so wordy, which was fine at first, but after a while, shoot for,
it wore thin on some people
down
down there in Miami. Right.
But you touched on the most important thing. This is the Adam Gase, Eric Mangini dynamic. You can't take a rebound hire as a middle finger to whoever fired you, as validation that I can still coach.
Right.
You want to wait for the right job. I've talked to former head coaches who have resisted the temptation to chase any job.
Right.
Because you get one more shot if you're lucky. You get one more. And if your second head coaching job doesn't work out, you are, except in the rarest of situations like Wade Phillips and Norv Turner,
right.
You are done.
Right.
After two, you are done. And Pete Carroll. But you are just done. It's over. It's done. It's not happening again. That is the risk that you take if you jump back into the pool too quickly. And the jobs are available for a reason. That's a problem in any cycle. Where are the great jobs? That was what your guy Lombo, said last year when they were trying to justify why Bill Belichick wasn't back in the NFL, even though he still wants to be. The Giants' job is the one that stands out. It's easy to stand out when, now the Steelers are in that mess or that mix too, as long as we ignore the current state of the roster and just focus on the history of the team. But jobs come available for a reason, and it's usually because there's something fundamentally wrong. And if you step into that mess, you're the next one to go.
That's right.
And then you're done.
That's right.
We agree on McDaniel then.
All right, cool. Want to go to the next one?
All right. So the retread, once fired or more than once, head coach who you expect to be an NFL head coach in 2026 is who?
Gosh, this is a good list here. I mean, man, there's Vance Joseph, right? There's Robert Saleh, Matt Nagy, Brian Flores, Cliff Kingsbury, Mike McCarthy. Damn, Jason Garrett, Arthur Smith, Antonio Pierce.
Who put Mike McCoy on this list? Pete,
Jim
Schwartz. Mike McCoy on this list?
Hey, he did interview. Pete's just being thorough and detailed. Way to go, Pete. That's how the Giants do it. We're thorough and detailed. All right, way to go, Pete. It's the Giant way. But this really is a tough one here. And I do feel like Vance Joseph has a really good chance of being a head coach once again. Brian Flores, I think should be a head coach. I just don't know if I can I don't want to stamp it here because I don't know if the league, and I don't know if he'll have the amount of options some of these other ones. All right, the one I'm going to throw out there, I think I'm going to throw out there Robert Saleh. I'm going to go with Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh, I feel like, is going to get the benefit of the doubt, a little like Kevin Stefanski, of like, you coached at a place that's dysfunctional. You coached at the Jets. We don't know how much to blame you or blame the atrocity of how the Jets are run as an organization. So it's him or Vance Joseph that I look at. I'll go with Robert Saleh here on this one.
I don't disagree with that. And look, there are multiple of these former head coaches who I think will get opportunities if they want them. They have to want them. Vance Joseph had some great quotes yesterday, the stories at PFT, just because he's very pragmatic about it.
He really
look,
is, yeah.
When you're in a great organization and you start winning, all of a sudden they want some of what we got.
Right.
They believe we have the recipe,
right.
So they pluck us away and they make us head coaches. And he's already been a head coach once before with the Broncos. Now he's back as defensive coordinator, and I think he'll get an opportunity at some point. The one I want to mention for now, because I think it's relevant to what we spent the first hour or most of it talking about, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
I think Mike McCarthy, here's my dart. Here's my close your eyes. And this is one of those where I have absolutely no information. This is just gut feeling. I think he's going to be the coach of the Titans. I think that as the dust settles on John Harbaugh to the Giants, somebody in the Titans organization is going to find that graphic that has the Mike McCarthy career against the John Harbaugh career. And you're going to realize, holy crap, it's the same guy. It's basically the same guy. I can remember we had the conversation on this show when Mike McCarthy was clearly on the hot seat in Dallas. Someone had said to me, why does John Harbaugh never get mentioned?
Yeah,
He's got the same resume as Mike McCarthy.
Right.
How is Harbaugh avoiding the hot seat and Mike McCarthy's slapping away flames?
Yeah, well,
so
I mean,
I think the reverse is going to be, wait a minute. They hired Harbaugh. It was a land rush for Harbaugh. We wanted Harbaugh. Maybe McCarthy's the next best thing. Maybe McCarthy's the same damn thing. Yeah,
listen, McCarthy deserves, he's one of those rare ones, again, that third time, maybe. Yeah, but you can justify it. He shouldn't have been fired in Dallas. I think we know that, right? I don't know if I look at it as apples to apples here, because I think the context of it matters a little bit. I mean, again, the Ravens were capable of getting to the AFC Championship game through that, right? And do that. And on top of that, the Ravens had to deal with what we talked about are the Patriots and the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl. On the other hand, where I would go and I would stick up for Harbaugh on this and go with McCarthy is go, you had the best quarterback in football for like 8 years. You went to the Super Bowl with him one time. Then you had some underwhelming performances with some really talented teams in Dallas where you couldn't get quite as far as I think the public, the media, the league thought you should have, right? And I think that's where it's a little different. But regardless, yeah, I understand that. And Mike McCarthy, I do believe deserves another shot, and he's worthy, and he's a damn good NFL head coach.
By the way, if you're watching the program and you saw the graphic, they had the number wrong. Harbaugh has 18 years as a head coach, and the graphic came from Polymarket Football. And let me just say this generally, and I haven't made this statement internally or externally. Let's not use anything from any of these inherently corrupt insider trading prediction markets, please. Kalshi, Polymarket, I just anytime I see one of those, I just block them. Like that thing is unchecked. Our next sponsor of PFT Live, Polymarket Football. That is so. It is so openly corrupt. You saw the thing about the attack on Venezuela. Somebody dropped a gigantic, I don't know,
wager or whatever. Right, I did see that.
But yeah, but somebody dropped a shitload of money on us attacking Venezuela, and within 2 hours we did. And there's no checks on any of it. So, word to the wise: complete ban on prediction markets on this program, especially since they had the number of years that John Harbaugh coached the Ravens. Incorrect. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.